Welcome to episode 4 of the Indie Mosh Show. I'm Jenny Mosher, founder of Indie Mosh, and this series of podcasts is designed to demystify the self-publishing process as much as possible, so thanks for listening in. This episode is brought to you by 1000 Words Plus. If you've published a book, why not create a web page for life for it at 1000wordsplus.com. Provide samples of your book's text to hook readers in. Add links to where your book can be bought, as well as links to your website and social media accounts. You can even display a panel showing your awesome Goodreads reviews. To find good books to read or to see how your book's webpage could look, visit 1000wordsplus.com. And if you decide to list your book, then grab a freebie on me. Use coupon code IM04 at the checkout, that's India Mike 04, to get your lifetime listing for free. Indie Mosh has been helping Australians self-publish since 2009, and we've learned an awful lot since then, nearly all of it the hard way. In these podcasts, I aim to share that knowledge to make it easy for you to forge your own publishing path, either with or without our help. Today's topic is an outline of some of the things you need to consider when organising the cover for your book. One of the first things to remember is that it will often be viewed on smartphones, and so you need to be able to express what your book is about in an image the size of a matchbox lid. I'm assuming here that you do remember what a matchbox looks like. We don't seem to see them so often these days. So on that basis, long titles are going to be hard to show, and you may have to think about breaking your title into a couple of main words, which you can show in a large font on the cover, with a longer explanatory subtitle for those that decide to look a little more closely. Try not to incorporate too many images or text on your cover unless they're just meant as an indicator of the subject matter, and consider plenty of light and dark contrast to help the text and images show up, not just in the thumbnail size, but also on black and white devices such as the Kindle Paperwhite. Checking your cover draft in black and white will also help you decide if it will work or not, as you won't be distracted by the colours. If there's a chance you'll publish more than one book, then brand your name in your series right from the start. Visit Smashwords or Amazon and search for J.L. Halen, T.J. Spade, Jeff Hopkins or Montana Ash to see how branding your name or series can help make your work more identifiable. The three things you'll need for your front cover are the book's title, its subtitle, and your name or pseudonym. You can add a 1 or 2 line review from a reviewer, or a promotional line such as the sequel to whatever the prior book in the series was called. But don't add a website URL to your front cover, and don't show a price. Nor should you mention retailer names such as Amazon. These are 3 items which will see your book refused by many, many retailers. Your back cover should have a barcode to help bookstores and libraries with stock control, but don't incorporate the price in the barcode, and don't show it on the back cover either. If the price ever needs to go up or down, then you've got to redo the whole cover. The rest of the back cover can be given over to a synopsis, more detailed reviews, a quick bit about the author or a website link, whatever works for you. When you're developing your book, you'll need to know how you're going to release your book so that you can guide your cover designer appropriately. Your designer will need to know if you're having a print version, and if so, what the trim size of the book will be, which company will be doing the printing, and how they'll need the final file prepared. How much bleed? Do they need crop marks? And what will the spine width be? Of course, you can't work that bit out until the book's nearly ready for its first printed proof, as the page count will probably be changing by a page or 2 up and down right up until the last minute. Your designer will also need to know if you're having an ebook version so that they can prepare to make that as soon as you sign off on your printed proof. You may have noticed that little line I slipped in there about guiding your cover designer. If you were thinking that you could create a cover in Microsoft Word or using Paint, Publisher or PowerPoint, then I've got bad news for you. You might just get away with an ebook cover in Publisher if you understand about exporting JPEGs with the right resolution and in the right pixel size, but you're going to be hard-pressed to create a technically acceptable print cover in any of those programs. You can, of course, draft up a design in any of those programs and in plenty of others to get a handle on what you want and where and an idea for how the final cover should look. But for print covers in particular, you really need a decent graphics program like InDesign, Illustrator, or at worst Photoshop, and the know-how to use it. So I strongly recommend employing a cover designer. Trust me, the money you'll save in headache tablets is worth it. If you're wanting a hand-drawn illustration on the cover, then you'll need to scan it in at 300 dpi or higher. Your local print shop can probably help you there. But don't hand-draw the title. Let the cover designer find a computer-generated font to do that work for you. I've yet to see a cover with a hand-drawn title that didn't look homemade. Doesn't mean they don't exist, I've just never seen one. Your final print cover will need to be a one-piece PDF produced, generally speaking, for CMYK printing. CMYK stands for cyan, a blue, magenta, a red, yellow, a yellow, and key, which is black. When you're using a computer, the colours are formulated in what's called RGB, which stands for red, green and blue. They're pulled together to provide the colours you see on screen without using black, but a print file needs to use black. Now, that's a really, really simple explanation that works for my really, really simple brain. So if you'd like more information on the differences between CMYK and RGB, then I'd suggest you Google it. So where were we? Yes, print covers. The cover file will have the book's back cover on the left-hand side and the front cover on the right-hand side of the PDF, with the spine in the middle, joining the two covers together. The total image will also need to extend around 3 millimeters past where the book will finish at the top, bottom and outside edges to allow for final trimming of the book. This extra bit of file is called bleed. Your cover designer may send you a PDF with crop marks, showing where it will be cropped, or they may simply send it with bleed, in which case you'll need to imagine it a little bit smaller, or they may send it so that you can see how it will look trimmed. However, the trimmed version won't work for your printing company, so you'll need to make sure you get the right file for the printing company you're using and don't mix it up with any preview versions your designer sends you. Amazon's CreateSpace and many other companies offer printing on one side of the cover only, the outside. So if you're using CreateSpace, don't plan anything for printing on the inside of the cover. And they don't offer fold-in flaps like the ones you get on a dust jacket, so don't worry about creating content for those either. However, if you're using Ingram's Lightning Source or Ingram Spark service, for many of their sizes you can have a duplex cover on your paperback, or you can choose a hardback with a dust jacket, in which case you can have that extra bit of info printed on the flaps of the dust jacket. If you're having a print version of your book, get a printed proof first and check it before you get your designer to export your ebook cover. If you receive your printed proof and realise that you need to change the cover for some reason, then you don't want to have to pay your designer for doing the ebook cover twice. Ebook covers, exported as a version of the print cover, are much simpler animals, as they're only the front cover. But it's not just a case of chopping the front cover off the print version. Different ebook retailers have different size requirements for ebook covers based on pixel width and height counts and resolution. These specs change from time to time as technology improves, but at the moment we're creating all our IndieMosh ebook covers at 1563 pixels wide and 2,500 pixels high. This weird measurement keeps both Apple and Amazon happy, and they're the main two to consider. And also, ebook covers need to be JPEG files in RGB, not PDFs in CMYK. Are you thinking about outsourcing yet? Hope so. Having an idea of the physical properties of your book will help you decide how to distribute it and which service providers to use for the different steps in your publishing journey. These choices will then often dictate the technical aspects required for the cover file. Your print formats are fairly straightforward. You can have a hardback or a paperback or a board book. If you're using a print-on-demand service, then a board book will be out of the question. Your hardback can have a cloth cover with a paper dust jacket, or it can be case laminate, which means the printed cover is glued to the board and so there's no need for a dust jacket. Case laminate covers and dust jackets are usually in a gloss laminate. Paperback covers are printed single-sided or double-sided depending on the book printer. The covers are card and you can usually choose between a gloss laminate or a matte laminate. The spine width of your cover will be affected by the company you choose to do the printing. Different companies use different paper stocks, and so the spine width for printing at one company may not be exactly the same as it would at another company. So as you can see, although that's a summary of things to consider, each point will involve more thought depending on what you're trying to achieve with your book and your cover. For instance, the title of your book may need to change if you now realise that it's just not going to be readable on the thumbnail of a cover. If you're publishing directly via CreateSpace and you understand a fair bit about graphics and files, then you can use their Cover Creator tool. If you're looking for a cover designer and you're in Australia, we have several listed on our experts page at IndieMosh. Just visit indiemosh.com.au/experts and click on the option for cover design. If you're elsewhere in the world, then there are plenty of cover designers out there in cyberspace just waiting for your business. However, I'd have a word with other authors you know first to see if they have any recommendations. It can save you a lot of time and grief. Well, that's it for today. I'm Jenny Mosher, and as always, thanks for listening. Happy writing and happy cover designing.